Hello and welcome to the Coach Me Vancouver podcast. My name is Nadine Stille and we are recording live from downtown Vancouver. We are the one-stop community space for you to meet and book your local coaches who will help you thrive and take your life, career, or company to the next level. Our guest today is Iris Cai, professional career coach and workshop facilitator. Iris is passionate about helping professionals and entrepreneurs create a life and career that matter. Starting her career as an international student wasn't easy. In China, English was her strong suit. The minute she arrived in Canada, that advantage disappeared. With hard work, courage, and help from many great mentors and coaches, Iris managed to overcome the challenges and successfully navigated many life and career changes. After spending over 12 years in various marketing and people development roles in large organizations, she decided to leave corporate Canada and embark on a career as a professional coach. Becoming a coach is one of the biggest risks she's taken in her life to honor her life purpose. She hasn't looked back since, despite the many challenges that come with being an entrepreneur. Now, as the career coach for University of British Columbia's MBA program and as an independent professional coach, she leverages her diverse corporate experience, aptitude in branding and marketing to help her clients reinvent their lives and careers in an authentic, balanced and creative way. So check out coachmevancouver.com/book to connect with Iris for a free initial coaching session. All client stories mentioned in this podcast have either been approved for use or been altered to not be identifiable. In today's podcast, we learn about reinventing your career in very creative ways. We find out how Iris uses positive psychology for her coaching clients. We also discover that she can coach in English, Cantonese and Mandarin, and that Iris takes her clients on an exploratory treasure hunt. Welcome, Iris. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Nadine. It's really excited for me to be here today.
Great. I love having you around. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're recording. We're spending our time together, both with big smiles on our faces in case people can't pick it up listening in. So tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do as a coach?
Yeah, so I do have two different hats. I work full-time at UBC as a career coach for their MBA students in Sauder School of Business. I also run my business, Bolt Careers, where I focus on offering workshops on career reinvention, and I do one-on-one coaching on career reinvention and also supporting people develop their leadership skills, confidence, and just different ways and techniques to overcome their limiting beliefs and all the common barriers that would come up in the journey of having a more fulfilling life and career.
Both hats actually complement each other pretty well, right?
Absolutely.
So one of the things that come to mind right away is career reinvention. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, this is really definitely worth a definition. And I would say it really depends on everyone's situation. For example, my definition of career reinvention, it's something that really pushes someone's comfort zone a little bit. It gives them the opportunity to really re-examine what they're going through in their career right now, finding out what is not engaging enough, what is not energizing to them enough, and what can they do more of to create a more fulfilling career. So it could be something that is as small as changing to a different company, a different industry, switching to a different job, or to something that is much bigger, like what I did actually, changing career, like a job function and industry at the same time, or setting up a new business.
That is a lot as well.
So it really has a range. It's almost like more of the journey of, or the attention you invest to think about, okay, what do I want next in this next chapter of my career? Could also already been defined as a career reinvention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Someone once told me that the most important thing about making a decision is to actually make the decision. It's like to come up with this. Is it left or right, or is it straight ahead?
Right.
And once you know that, once you have identified that, then it's easier to make a plan, because otherwise you just walk around in circles and, you try this and this a bit, but you never really know where to go.
Yeah.
So once you know, you then make a plan.
Yeah, and absolutely. And that's why your mindset in this journey, looking at things with the right angle and knowing what you're getting into, is the most important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then once you know that, you go on that journey, and you need that confidence, that other part that you brought up earlier, right?
Yes.
Confidence and grit and perseverance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about that. Is that part of a workshop? Is that part of your coaching?
Yeah, I do tackle these two areas, both in workshops and also in one-on-one coaching. So, for example, for my one-day career reinvention bootcamp, we not only get into the interactive activities where we use our personal business model canvas that helps the participants think about themselves like they're a startup, and we go onto the wall and use post-it notes to prototype different versions of their career. However, in the afternoon, we also get into exploring things that could stand in their way and some techniques to overcome that. So that's the workshop piece. When it comes to one-on-one coaching, I would say it's integrated in our conversation, in a coaching conversation. Whenever I picked up that certain language used by the client, it's actually showing that they're worried about something. There's a certain pattern that shows that they may not be willing to be too committed, or they're worried about something. Then that's something that I picked up and work on with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then once you see the kind of successes, you build up on that, and that helps with the confidence, obviously, too, right?
Yeah.
It's like reflecting on that.
Yeah. And one thing I would like to add is that I'm really a student of positive psychology, which is a scientific study of the strengths that helps human beings, helps organizations thrive. So in the coaching conversations we have, and also in the workshops I do, it's always very strengths-based, very values-based. We focus on what is positive, what has gone well in this person's lives, what's important to them, and reinvent their career, their lives from those positive attributes, rather than always working on closing gaps. So that's something that's really important for me to point out.
Yes, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
I was nodding here.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that approach. There's like lead with your strengths, right? And make sure that the weaknesses that you have don't get you out of the race of wherever it is that you want to go, but definitely build on your strengths and use them to the positive, because it's not just that you're necessarily good at them, but it gives you so much energy back too, right? If it deeply connects with you.
Yeah, it's actually really common for not just high achieving individuals, just human beings in general. We tend to focus on what has gone wrong, what could be improved, because of that survival instinct, I think. So when it comes to taking risks to do more of our life and career, it is really important for us as a coach to help the client remember the things that are positive, so that they can stay motivated.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Love it. Going back a step to something else that you mentioned earlier on was risks that you've taken in your career to get to where you are now. And reading through your bio, you actually mentioned being a coach, a career coach, and going into that, down that career path is one of the biggest risks that you've ever taken. And that really stood out to me. Can you explain about that a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually came to coaching as a profession in around the last year of my 7-year career at a local telecommunications company. And that was a time when I really felt that I wanted something different. And when I made the decision to switch to working as a coach or training as a coach, I actually got accepted to an executive MBA program to study already by a very top Canadian business schools. So that was a really tough decision. In fact, giving up a admission offer on the table, knowing that if I go through it, I would be having a very bright future in the corporate Canada, right? Going to some big companies, huge salary trajectory in front of me. However, at that point of my career, I just feel that there's just so many things that are extremely intriguing about coaching, helping people unleash their potential as much as coaching has done for me, boosting my confidence, opening up my horizon. And I really wanted to do that for more people like me. And also, I think I have a gift of speaking Mandarin and Cantonese, and I think that will just allow me to serve a much bigger demographic as well. So just connecting with those values and purpose that coaching has helped me uncover eventually helped me make up that mind to train and then eventually work as a coach and not continue the path within the big corporations with a marketing career.
Mm-hmm. And just to be clear, you are still in alignment with that career choice.
Absolutely. And actually, I'm in the best of both worlds. I work as a coach and I support business students. So all that experience I built in over 12 years in the business community has been really helpful in helping me support my students and also my clients in my private practice make career decisions, right? Explore and make a lot of important decisions in their lives. And I think that maturity really pay off as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. And you mentioned the much larger demographic of, especially here in Vancouver, and being able to speak Cantonese and Mandarin. Does that mean you do coach in like 3 languages?
Yeah. Well, in one coaching session, I don't speak all 3, obviously. And yes, I am absolutely fluent in both Cantonese and Mandarin. I came to Canada only when I was 20, so pretty well versed in all the languages, and I would be able to support those.
Okay, great, good one.
Yeah.
To look forward to.
Yeah.
So we talked about your niche and your area of expertise already quite a bit, actually, earlier on. So is there anything that you would like to add to that? So you're kind of really going into helping people reinvent their career, helping them with the confidence and kind of the grit to actually achieve that. Is there any other area that you're really focused on that you'd like to mention at this point?
Right. Maybe I would deepen the career reinvention piece even a little bit more. So earlier I alluded to the fact that the career reinvention I do with my clients involve some business model canvas, right? So that is based on a larger, I would say, philosophy of seeing an individual like their own boss. Like you are the CEO of your own startup, right? And I think this kind of entrepreneurial spirit, it's really, really important for us to develop, no matter whether you would like to continue to work as an employee of an organization or one day have your own side hustle or own company. It's more like the mindset of taking the reign of your own life, your career, and being able to design it the way that you want. That is really important for someone to foster. And I like to help people foster that. And it's actually not just by choice. I would say in the future of work, right, a lot of the jobs out there would be replaced or morphed significantly because of technology, right? Artificial intelligence is already doing that to many, many jobs. And we need to be very proactive in examining what kind of skills we have that could be obsolete. What is really those things that are interesting for us to pursue? So that I would say that would be one. And can I add one more point on that?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So another one, I would say it's actually not a new concept, design thinking, or I would say human-centered design. So this is actually a a component of the overall application of positive psychology, right? Designing products and services, or doing innovation in a human-centered way. And this is already very well known and often applied in the field of innovation, product design. And I'm really a champion of using that kind of a mindset and using those techniques in career reinvention. So thinking about your own career, your own talent as a product, and being able to understand your needs and your customers' needs and do your research and being able to prototype different versions of your careers in a very agile way is another mindset that I advocate for in the process of career reinvention, and also just the reinvention of someone's life. Yeah,
it's a very I haven't heard anyone else's take on it in that way,
right.
And it's a very creative way as well. It's like you distance yourself from kind of you, and you're treating it very objectively. And, sometimes actually what comes to mind when people talk about self-compassion, it's like, talk to yourself as if you talk to, like your best friend. And in this case, it's it's kind of a take on that on your career. Is like, what would you advise someone else? It's like, and reflect that back on you. So it's a very unique thing to look at your career from kind of the outside and kind of distance yourself with that, and then come up with all the ideas and have other people help you with that. I've seen, like, it's part of your workshop. There's a lot of people involved and loads of sticky notes, and it's very collaborative, interactive way.
Yeah, we do
right?
a lot of journaling, discussion, and I think that process of verbalizing things that we have internalized so much, and discussing that with a group is really, really creative. It's generative of ideas, and we need ideas in order to build new things. Yeah,
great, love it. Thank you. So for those listening in and thinking, I'd love a bit of that. It's like, how do I go about reinventing something? What are some pointers? So would you be able to share some coaching questions that, people can take with them to think about for the next few days and weeks, even once they've listened to the podcast?
The first one I would say is not so much a question. It would be not a coaching question, but however, topics really that would be helpful for people to get some new insights on. I would say, first of all, is take a good inventory of the things that they really enjoy, that brings them joy, energy, and sometimes even into a flow state in their career, in their life, and then looking for some common themes in that reflection process.
What does flow state mean?
Have you heard of being in the zone?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's when something that is so engaging that captures your attention and you just forget about time.
Yeah. So the first part is getting a good inventory about yourself, doing a self-audit nearly, right? Okay, second question or second thing you'd like to?
Another good question, obviously, is if money, time, and other resources is not a problem at all, what would you do to dedicate your life to?
Let me dream.
Yeah, a lot of times, I would say we all have dreams. Sometimes they are buried very, very deep inside, all those aspirations. And we let money, time, or just our own talents, right, get in the way, and we forget about them. So this question is really helping the client put all those things aside and really get back in touch with what is really important to them.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And do you have another question?
Yeah, another thing is really touching on that resilience, confidence piece that I think is an important component or important skill for someone to develop if they want to have a fulfilling life and career. So that question is, if you weren't afraid or you weren't worried, what would you do instead?
I love that question for so many reasons. One of them is that it's on my phone screensaver because I just love that question.
Yeah.
And there's a lot is possible through that, right?
It's actually really important to point out that even the most successful people. They may look really, really fearless. Actually, fearlessness does not exist. We all have fears. It's really these people are just so courageous that they are able to work with their fears and still move ahead.
Yeah. It's actually good that there are fears. It probably keeps us alive in a lot of circumstances, right?
Yeah.
There's a cougar or a bear in front of us. It's like, yeah, let's do something about it. This is not a good situation, but in other ways around your career, go for it, right? So thank you for sharing those. And we'll pop them up on social media. We can see, hopefully some people chiming in and seeing what their reactions are to that.
That's great.
I
appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on. Again, we've already alluded to that a bit earlier on, but who should really seek you out? Is there a particular...
Yeah, I do have a type of clients that I feel that I most enjoy working with. I would say people who just have a zest for life. They want more out of their life. They are willing to work hard. And it's okay if they have fears, they have some confidence that they still want to build up. However, they really want it more, and they're willing to step out of their comfort zone and are willing to take a little bit of a risk and test out new things. Yeah. Oh, and there's another one. They are interested and willing to make a difference in their community, in the lives of other people. I would say that is definitely important value that I often like to see in my ideal clients.
Okay, great. So does that kind of come out in an alignment session, in a first coaching session where you both find together how you can...
Yeah, I definitely would be able to assess that kind of alignment during an initial discovery session. And I would like to say that not many people know right away at the beginning that they have a cause or something that they're passionate about and they need to dedicate their lives into it. I would clarify that that is not what I would ask for. They need to have that willingness to want to give, because I think that the process of career reinvention is actually sometimes could be tough, and sometimes we need that motivation, and the most sustainable kind of motivation is actually having a purpose to give to others' lives, to create a difference in the community. And that's what I, as a coach, can do to help my client figure out what that purpose is.
Yeah, and it's kind of giving back, right? You receive that and you reciprocate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Into the community. Okay, great. What do you love most about your job? You mentioned earlier that it paid off to take a risk and to become a career coach.
Yeah.
What do you love about it?
Well, I think my job is really a treat. I get to listen to people's stories. I get to explore their lives with them together. It's kind of like a treasure hunt, like drawing maps with them together. And sometimes I carry a lamp with them, with the two of us, and I'm lighting up that path for this person and helping them realize that, oh, there's actually so much bigger of a horizon out there for this person to play and make a difference in. That potential is really infinite. And I just love that. Yeah, I think it's a treat.
Wow, I have a treasure map, and like that visual is so strong.
Yeah.
It's like you're going on an adventure with Iris. I love it. And you go exploring. You have your explorer hat on, and
yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah, great. I love it. I love it. So do you have a favorite book or quote that you'd like to share that kind of means something more to you, or that has the, as a guiding?
Yeah, I love books. And however, my all-time favorite since last year is Adam Grant's Give and Take. So there are two things that really fascinates me is that, especially when I work with younger people, as well as that I noticed that we have this stereotype that people who are more able to give are those who probably are more successful already in their lives. They may make more money, philanthropists, for example, right? People who have moved up in their career. However, this is so not it. In the process of giving, we actually paradoxically receive a lot. This is where we sometimes learn. This is where we build really, really strong relationships, and just unconditionally, one day you actually gained out of this giving that you have been doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is really a big one. And I think it's really helpful for me as an entrepreneur as well, building relationships with the clients I have served. For example, we do a lot of free sessions out there, and just having that mindset of giving to our communities, remembering that this is just for the general good. When we contribute to their lives, they're actually more likely to also pay it forward to those around them. It's actually quite a life-changing book for me.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
And also very humbling.
Yeah, and it definitely connects in with what you've mentioned earlier around giving back to the community and being of service, right?
Yeah. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention is the book also really stress that life, or even in the business world, it's not a zero-sum game. There are a lot of win-win situations that we can create, partnerships or collaboration. I think it really changes the energy of how we interact with other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. And the when you said you're giving back to the community and you're doing like free sessions of, and I know you've done like workshops for charities. Is that what you were referring to?
Yeah, although there are different natures. For example, for one-on-one sessions, when people reach out to me, I do think it's important to have that discovery session to ensure the mutual fit, making sure that I am also a suitable coach and they are a suitable client for me. I also speak at nonprofit organizations, doing workshops, and sometimes just supporting them with resources that I have. That's my way of doing it. Another example is for the Career Reinvention Bootcamp that I do. 10% of the proceeds are dedicated to Room to Read, which is a global nonprofit that supports gender equality in education and literacy in third world countries. So that is a cause that it's really, really important to me. And that's how I really connect my business with those who are still underprivileged. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I say so strongly that we don't need to wait until we have a lot of wealth in our bank account in order to give to people's lives. There are ways to creatively do this.
Mm-hmm. And I do have to check out that charity. It very much aligns with what is dear to me too. I'm also a very avid reader and diversity and inclusion advocate. And I think it all starts with education.
Absolutely.
Right? Equality starts with educating people. So great. I need to check that out.
Yeah, so your lights just lit up just now.
It's like, oh my God, I need to, thank God this is recorded so I can listen back. I don't need to take a pen and paper out.
Great.
We have nearly everything done for today, apart from the questions in a bag feature.
Okay.
So we have that standing here. There's a little purple and white fancy bag, and you're gonna take 3 papers out, draw 3, and then you read one out at a time and answer. Let's see what you've got. Question number 1.
Ooh, what are you currently learning? Yeah, so since last year, actually, I've been reading lots about the topic of positive psychology. Earlier, mentioned that a little bit. Scientific studies of strengths that helps human beings and organizations thrive. And in particular, I was exploring the topic of optimism. So what are the types of thinking styles or exploratory styles that helps people become more positive, more resilient. This is a topic that is really, really important to me in terms of how to help me become a more successful entrepreneur and support my clients to become more successful in their lives. And in fact, I'm going to just put it out there that I also applied for a master's degree in applied positive psychology with the University of Pennsylvania. I think positive psychology has so much more potential in education, in the organizations out there, and this is what I'd like to dedicate more of my life learning into.
Mm-hmm. It all sounds fascinating. Best of success with that.
Thank you.
Masters.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, question number 2.
Okay. Wow, this is an interesting one. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to speak to animals? I actually think it would be the every language in the world part.
You've got 3 already ticked off that list. Okay.
Oh, well, sure. I'm sure there are a lot more. It's just really more aligned with my fascination with humanity. It is actually one of my core values. I just love hearing human beings' stories and also comparing different cultures, understanding what are the things that are really important about their culture, their religion, and seeing what are the things that are very common and what are things that are really different. And I think being able to speak their language is like a window into the souls of that culture.
Mm-hmm. It's another exploration.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely.
Great. And question number 3.
Okay. What is your favorite place in Vancouver? That's a tough one.
Yeah, so many to pick from.
Actually, that's the place that we were just talking about earlier, the Stevenson Village in Richmond.
Yes.
Yeah, one of my favorites, I would say. It's just near the sea, right? It's so open. Lots of little boutiques. I don't like chain stores as much anymore. And there's a very old general store there selling old like antique items, and it's just and fancy little restaurants. Yeah,
it's again with the explorer theme. I think you just go through, you explore what they have. You never quite know what you're going to get or what they have on offer, and it's so many different eclectic things.
And eclectic, that's the word. Like very unique, and I think that's what also fascinates me when I'm working with every single client. Each human being has something that is so unique about them. And I love that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing, for spending your time with me this afternoon on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Talk to you soon.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Head over to coachmevancouver.com/book to book an initial free coaching session with Iris and find out how she can help you create a life and career that really matter. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay curious.